You are now watching Zach Lesage, the best place to learn about competitive Pokemon TCG. Let's get it! Yo, what's poppin' peeps? Welcome back to the channel, Zach Lesage here. Today we're going to be going over the results of the Late Night Series number 17 event. With over 300 players, this is the largest Late Night event in the Fusion Strike format and the largest Fusion Strike event to date. So I'm incredibly humbled and proud to be able to provide that for the community. And a huge shout out goes to everyone who played in this event, watched this event, observed this event, even watching this video. Thanks so much to everybody. All the lists for all these decks are going to be in the description below. You can check out the list for all of the players who played in the event, regardless of placement in the Limitless standings, and that link's there. So let's jump into this list, see exactly what's going on with these top 8 players. So you can see there's a lot of decks that did quite well at the Late Night Series, but we got to start off somewhere, and we're going to be starting off with Henrique Jorge at number 8, coming straight from Brazil, with Mew VMAX. So Mew VMAX has been popping up everywhere. It's no surprise to anyone to see this deck at the top tables now. If you don't have Mew VMAX, it is the real deal. By all means, if you're looking for a way to make it a little bit cheaper, you can go to PTCGO plug in code ZLesage5. That's also in the description if you want to check that out. Basically here we have the Mew VMAX deck. The goal is to use Mew's Cross Fusion Strike to copy different attacks. In this particular version, we're going to be copying Genesect V's. Their attack, their Techno Blast to do 210, that Pokemon can attack, but Mew has free retreat, so you could free retreat into another Mew VMAX. You could use Peony to search your deck for a switch, or Cramomatic search for a switch. You have cross switchers, and there's a lot of bags, there's a lot of tricks up Mew's sleeve, a whole bag of tricks. And those include Latias. You could use Dyna Barrier to stop your opponent's Pokemon VMAX from damaging the attacking Mew. You could even use Oricorio to reduce your opponent's damage output. You could accelerate energies. You could increase your damage with power tablets. Lots of gust effects between Boss, Cross Switcher, Cramomatic can draw cards. Now, I think this list looks strong for a Peony build. I do have a few notes. I think that playing a single Marnie is cool. A lot of the times you can't do anything about your opponent's hands. One Marnie might be a little bit too low, especially with the low count of Cramomatics. If you're going for a Peony build, this list does look very good, although I don't think Capture Energy is super necessary at this stage in the game. I think it's much better to go for pure Psychic Energies, just because of the amount of Fan of Waves that's seeing play. In terms of playing the stadium counts, I think the stadium count's fine. Maybe you could reduce one, but I really would like to see more Cramomatic in this deck because it is so good to reduce the amount of cards that you have in your hand to draw cards with Genesect V's Fusion Strike system. With that being the main source of draw when it comes to this deck, I think that's really where I might find an issue. But however, this player was able to make top 8 over 300 players. That's like a regional championships on a Monday night. So if you got a chance to play in these events, by all means, play in these events. They're awesome. And they're free, and there's prizing and all that good stuff. More players are favoring the build with Meloetta right now. So that might be something that's that you might want to factor in if you are looking into playing Mew. I personally like the Meloetta version without Peony at this time, but that's something that's it's more of a metagame call right now. Maybe this build or another Mew build could be better in the future, but I think in general Mew VMAX is very good. It's very dominant, and I think that's just something that we got to factor in. So great job, Henrique. We're going to be going to Lee, a past Late Night Series champ with Victini, switching to a water deck, Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX. So I really like Ice Rider Calyrex VMAX. I think it's great against Single Strike Urshifu and other Single Strike decks, and I think it's good against Mew VMAX because it plays 4 Crushing Hammers and a couple Fan of Waves, and I think it's good against Suicune Ludicolo because with Quick Shooting and Ride of the High King, you're able to get those knockouts. Now, I think this list is very similar to Azul's list that he was able to make top 4 with a few weeks ago at the Late Night Series. So I really like Ice Rider. I think it's awesome. I think the list looks really good. The goal, Ride of the High King or Max Lance, and then Quick Shooting and get knockouts, Crushing Hammers, and Marnies for Disruption, and Fan of Waves, and all that good stuff. I think the triple Quick Shooting is cool. I've actually cut one of those Quick Shootings for a Path to the Peak in my list, but I might go back, and it seems like Lee has been able to cut a Melanie that typically is played for a copy of Raihan. I'm not sure if the copy of Raihan actually does does too much here, but it might allow for situations for Inteleon to attack, because you can't Melanie to a non-V Pokemon. Beyond that, I think the rest of the list looks relatively solid, and there's not much that I would change, so I think it's a great list overall. Shout out to Lee for continuously crushing out these events, one of the top players in the game right now for sure. We have Ira, or Ira. I'm sorry, I'm the worst at pronouncing names, so if I ever butcher it, just let me know below, and I'll totally get around to it. Playing Single Strike Urshifu VMAX. So there's actually quite a few Single Strike Urshifu VMAX that made the top cut at this event. So the goal is to be using Houndoom Single Strike Roar to either be powering up an Umbreon VMAX or your Single Strike Urshifu VMAX. You could also attack with the V versions to kind of keep pace with your opponent's Pokemon V. So you basically want to go Pokemon V against Pokemon V, Pokemon VMAX against Pokemon VMAX. Sometimes you want to go Pokemon VMAX against Pokemon V if they can't follow up with a knockout. Basically, you want to keep the prize trade in your favor, so understand how your opponent's going to retaliate against you at any given point, and I think that's going to be quite helpful. I think this list is good. Maybe one too many Single Strike Urshifu VMAX. I don't think you necessarily need to play 3-2 line of that, because it's not necessarily on meta trends. I'd like to see another Crobat V here, just to be able to draw more cards in best of 1, but I mean, they made top 8, so great job over there. Reducing the Marnie count to 3 probably seems a little bit not great. I think you want to increase your supporter count for a deck like this. Quite often, Single Strike only loses because it is drawing poorly. The Piers is interesting. I've never been a huge fan of Piers in any Single Strike deck. I know that I can grab a Dark Pokemon in Energy. It seems okay. It seems okay is the best way that I'd put it. It's not for me, but maybe it's for someone else, and teach their own. I've been playing with Zinnias and Bruno, and I'm sure people think that I'm crazy. I think I like those cards more than Piers. Maybe that's where the Marnie space is coming from, which is more justifiable, but I'd rather have draw supporter spots be draw supporter spots. In terms of everything else, I think the Switch count's fine. I think the Air Balloon count's fine. Tool Scrapper, Scroll of Scorn, Tower of Darkness, I think the energy count's fine. So, I mean, this seems like a kind of refined list for a personal player, right? It's not my personal list, but you can't knock this list because it's within the 55-ish core of this deck, and it looks really good. So it's been performing very well. Give this deck a whirl if you haven't given it a try. It's awesome, and it's performing well. We're going to jump into another one. We have Lionfish Lover. We're going to see if there's any differences. So we already went over the strategy of this deck. You can see that the line of Pokemon is exactly the same. They actually just played less of Marnie in general, which, again, I think it's better to have more draw supporters when it comes to this deck than not. Zinnias, Bruno, Shauna, Judge are all options. Where they change it up is that they went for Battle VIP Pass, and they went for less capture energies. I think I'd like to play the 4th capture energy and the Battle VIP Pass, because at least one's an energy. Maybe that doesn't matter too much. Battle VIP Pass is cool in this deck. Not sure how I feel entirely about playing it in the Single Strike Urshifu variant, but it is a very real option. So overall, this list looks solid. Battle VIP Pass, obviously seeing a lot of success. There's a lot of weird cards that I didn't necessarily think was going to see success in Fusion Strike. Battle VIP Pass was one of them. The other one would be Cramomatic and Was I Ever Wrong? I think both of those cards are amazing now. So sometimes cards can grow on you over time, and I think Battle VIP Pass is one of those things where it might look slightly odd to me now, and it ends up becoming very good in the future. Let's see what else we got going on here. So that was the top 8. We got a pack of alpacas playing Jolteon VMAX in the top 4. So their deck's goal is to use Jolteon's Max Thunder Rumble attack. It does 100 to the active and 100 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon that has any damage counters on them. You can get those damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon with Quick Shooting on Inteleon or with Zigzagoon. They've also included the Dusknoir, Peonia, and Dream Ball package. So the goal is to Peonia your Dream Ball into your prize cards, so you could rip it off your prize cards, then search your deck for a Dusknoir and summon a stage 2 and play relatively easily. I've never had success with Dream Ball Engine, and that's not to say that I'm not experienced enough to play a Dream Ball card. I just don't think there's enough time in the game. Obviously, this could be strong against Single Strike. When it comes to the matches, maybe it's something that we can look back when we look at how the player progressed, or if there was enough decks with special energies. But basically, Spatial Breach does stop your opponent's special energies, turns them into colorless type. Now, maybe they'll be able to knock out the Dusknoir in response, maybe not. We'll have to see. I think it also should have been the Chilling Rain Sobbles, because they could also power up a Jolteon VMAX in one turn. So there's a few changes there. In terms of the list, I think the rest of the list looks relatively common for a Jolteon VMAX list, so I don't think there's anything super spicy beyond the Dusknoir, but Dusknoir's been out for a while, so this seems like a pretty standard list. Making top 4 with Jolteon VMAX is, it's great. Jolteon VMAX is one of the top decks in the format. Maybe dying down a little bit this week as players kind of experiment with Gengar. So if you're wondering if it's going to be making a high placement as it has in the past in our top 10 list, it's one of those things where Jolteon VMAX might take a little bit of a dip, but it's still a very strong deck within the current top 10. So let's see what else we have going on with the players. We have Like Ollie with a B playing another single strike deck. 4-4, 3-2, 3-1. I do like the 3-1. Going with the 4 Battle VIP pass, sticking with the 4 Marnie. So, I mean, I think that this would be a list that I'd be looking at. Maybe 1 less energy. I'd like to have at least an energy. Maybe 9 is the correct call. Maybe 8's the correct call. Overall, I think this looks like a very strong list for single strike Urshifu VMAX. I like this list personally better, and they did a little bit better, so maybe the consistency really helped them out in some extra rounds. Oh, I did want to check out the last, I did want to see a pack of alpacas to see which matches they played against. So they lost against single strike, they won against a single strike. So they went 50-50. I think the deck could have gone 50-50 against single strike anyways in a best of 1 format. So I wouldn't say that the Dusknoir was conclusive. And top player in the game, Cal Connor, has been playing without the Dusknoir to greater success. This is where lists start to get a little bit different. I know it's the same archetype, but it is a new way to play it. So no Peony, playing with Meloetta in the Mew build, so you can copy Melodious Echo, doing 70 times the amount of Fusion Strike energies you have in play. This offers a strong single prize card attacking option against your opponent's Pokemon, and with Elisa Sparkle, an attachment of Fusion Strike energy, you could do 210 damage with Melodious Echo on your first turn, which is quite powerful. You could also increase that with Power Tablet. Not that I think you'd want to be increasing that, but you do have ways to knock out your opponent's Pokemon in Pokemon V on their first turn. The list has a lot of cool things going on with it, just to burn a lot of cards. One thing that I've changed is I've cut up Boss's orders for an Elisa Sparkle to have an emphasis in that in my personals list, but I really like Evan's list the most out of this tournament. I thought it was quite inventive. And moving on to our champion, Ed, we have Ed playing Mew VMAX. Again, very similar list to Evans, where they're playing 1 less copy of Meloetta, but the same idea is there. I'd like to see more copies of Elisa Sparkle, maybe another copy of Meloetta, so I'm very much on the side of Evan's list, but this list looks very great as well, and Ed played amazingly throughout the entire tournament, so congratulations to them as well. We just went over the strategy of Mew a few times. I'm not going to give it to you for a 3rd or 4th or 5th time, but Mew VMAX is great, and you can see with 3 placements in the top 8, it's absolutely amazing. I think it was 3 placements within the top 8. Was it? 1, 2, 3, yeah, 3 placements in the top 8. So this is what we got going on for the top 8 players. By all means, check out in the description for the list of all the standings. You could click on all these lists, and even if you wanted to see something spicy like Manu Pango's list, you could look at it over there as well. So gotta love Limitless. Shout out to Limitless. It's awesome. And that's what we got going on for this video today. Hopefully you enjoyed looking at the top 8 decks. If you've made the top 8, congratulations. It's been awesome, and it was awesome to watch your games through the Atlas stream. I do run these events every single Monday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern, so by all means check them out. We got PTCGO store and Atlas Collectibles sponsoring them, so we have a juicy prize pool that these players are playing for, an invitational structure, and these are the largest and most competitive events in Pokemon right now in general. So until someone else does anything else, these events are awesome. By all means, check them out. I really appreciate everyone who plays in these events, watches my videos, all that great stuff. That being said, as always, I gotta edit this video, and currently I just heard the ding go off. I'm making dinner, so well, I hope everyone has a wonderful weekend, and yeah, I'll catch up with all y'all later. Peace out. I truly appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. It means the world to me. And my goal with this channel is to spread my love of the game and knowledge with our entire Pokemon TCG community. If you haven't already, help signal boost this video to other Pokemon TCG fans by liking it, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. Hopefully we reach our goals really soon. Check out this recommended video, and have yourself a great day. Thanks.